What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. So let's tackle this 50-50 situation. Of course, this has been a topic that's been going on for a long period of time here on the internet and things like that. And we're gonna start off with I guess this lady's a pastor, something like that. Who knows? Listen, look, man, I was raised in the church and I don't know about this.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
So I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna start this 50-50 conversation off like this.
When I start selling pussy, I don't want to hear it. When I start selling pussy, I don't want to hear nobody say shit. When you see me on the corner, bitch, mind your business.
So we're gonna go here now. We're gonna see what she has to say. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
If you got to do 50-50, that means you're half of a man. Oh, I wish I had more men here today. Because both of us got punished for when the sin came in the world. The women was to be birthing children and go through pain and go through menstrual bleeding. You can't handle that. And a man's job was to work from sun up to sundown.
Look how angry she. So set up that sundown.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Stop it. Ooh, look how angry she is out here. Jesus, man, this is sad. A man's job is to work from sun up to sundown. Jesus, man. So what your job is? Because God gave you to me as a helpmeet. And see, that's what we don't talk about, you know what I'm saying? Like talking about she want to spew all this and that. Well, both of us got punished. Yeah, both of us got punished, but shit, who the hell ate the apple first out here? Or whatever fruit or whatever it was. Anyway. Nah, man, this is crazy right here. You know what I'm saying? Listen, look, man, I'm sorry. You can call me misogynist, whatever fuck you want to. I grew up old school. I know the Bible. Ain't no woman lead me in no fucking church.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
At all. She can go sit down somewhere. She can go sit down somewhere. It is what the hell it is out here. This is crazy. So we're going to continue. And we're going to see what other people are saying about this 50-50 situation.
50-50 is not about the money. It's more so like the man is the provider as far as the mortgage, the big bills, and I might buy all the groceries. I am in TJ Maxx, you know what I'm saying? Making this house look like a home. That's my 50% that I bring, because as a man, you can't really bring what I bring. You can't make this house a home like I can. We out of deodorant and toothpaste. Mess around with you. I got everything else covered. You covered the big things, and I'll be up under that umbrella.
You know what? I could see to a small degree what she was saying about the situation about, hold on, about being out of, maybe deodorant stuff. Some dudes out here, probably wouldn't be paying attention to that. But, in today's society, low key, most dudes are, on the single side, and, they have to engage in realizing that they need toothpaste and deodorant, things like that. So, most men know how to clean their own home, stuff like that. So, it's kind of crazy out here due to the fact that for the past 40 years, a lot of men have been, kind of maintaining their own homes. Maybe not 40, but I would say at least the past, since the turn of the 21st century, a lot of men that are old enough, we've been kind of, keeping our own homes, remembering to get our deodorant and cologne and all this. It's a lot. It's a lot. But, old school thinking, yes, a woman does make a house a home from the old school thought process, and that's true. But, nowadays, how many women are really capable of making a house a home?
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Hey, and this is where the trust factor comes in at, as far as, what's going on. The reason why, what do you bring to the table is part of the question and stuff like that, because we're living in a selfish society, and men know this definitely about women in today's society, that they are overwhelmingly selfish to some degree and things like that. And you know, if it don't apply, let it fly. But I'm just saying though, it's been proven that most women are overwhelmingly selfish in their thought process. So, you know, let's go here now. Let's see what she has to say.
Let's talk about 50-50, because a lot of y'all are not living in reality when we're having this conversation. You want a man to pay all the bills, take care of the rent or mortgage, lashes, car notes, nails, hair, take care of the kids. The list goes on and on, right? He needs to provide. And I'm not saying that you don't deserve that. I'm saying that the reality and the statistics.
No, see, that's another part of the conversation everybody needs to stop. Nobody deserves anything they hadn't worked for.
So what the French toast is going to think about?
Nobody. Even the animals in the animal kingdom understand that they have to work for it. That's why they go out and hunt, whatever. The ants on the ground, they move around, they go and gather resources and bring them back to the quote unquote queen of the ant mound, or whatever you want to say. You know, even, you know, I mean, the animals know that they're not going to get anything just because they deserve it. You know, this is a huge problem with our human brains. We feel like, and we think that we deserve something that we haven't even worked for. And that's a huge problem in today's society. Let's keep going.
To show that that is not the reality, because most men simply cannot afford to do that. The world we live in right now is crazy expensive. And even if that was the case, I'm sure most men would love to be able to take care of their women. However, the way society is set up right now, that is not a realistic expectation. And it's not because these men are lazy or they don't love you. The real truth is, most people are not rich. I don't care what society tells you. If we look at the actual numbers, the average person barely makes $50,000 a year. That's across the board. Like, go look at the stats. So where are we supposed to get all of this extra income from? And why is it that every time we talk about provision, we're talking about money in particular? Because provision is way more than money. Provision, a man could come in and provide peace. Maybe this man could provide protection or emotional security. There's so much more provision than just finances. Let's get that straight too. So many of my ladies are out here saying, oh, I'd rather pay 100% than to go 50-50. And I get that. I really do. You've been hurt. You've been disappointed by certain men. I get why you say that. But I want to just talk about why it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Studies show that the best way to level up, to build wealth, is to work together. Being 50-50 with your person, with the right person, is not struggle. It's actually strategy. You got to think bigger. It's two people building together. It's shared vision. It is respect and contribution, not one-sided survival.
Right.
Being alone and doing it 100% by yourself sounds empowering, but is it peace or is it pride wrapped in pain?
Yo, listen, look.
So what the French toast is going to think about?
Because this is where it's at right here. This is where it's at right here. And I'm going to tell you the reason why most of these, modern day women have the thought process that they do. Because listen, look, they're right here.
When I start selling pussy, I don't want to hear it. When I start selling pussy, I don't want to hear nobody say shit. When you see me on the corner, bitch, mind your business.
I'm just saying, and that's the thought process of some of the ladies out here in today's society. And they're the loudest with the thought process. And, you know what I'm saying? The other ladies that, are actually looking for genuine families and good connection and things like that. And I'm not saying that finances are not a part of actually, building and maintaining a home, because it is. It's just the facts. But to sit there and say that, that's the only thing that you actually want a man for is ridiculous and highly disrespectful to a man's mental stability, and yours too, as a lady. Let's keep going now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's wild out here.
So tired.
tired of seeing these conversations that y'all have about 50-50 and what do you bring to the table? Lord have mercy. Relationships are supposed to be about love, unconditional. But somehow or another, people then got to the point that love is about how much money you make and how well you clean and where you live at and what kind of car you're driving. Like, really, baby, if you're thinking like that, you really need to be by yourself. Now, I did a video quite a while ago about how, in terms of who brings what to the table, don't nobody have no table but Jesus. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Therefore, the table is his, and don't nobody got a table to bring nothing to but Jesus. Okay, we all sitting at his table, and we should be thankful to be sitting here breathing his air. We should be thankful that he brought anybody into our lives to love, because that's a gift that he gives freely. Now, if you just don't want that gift, baby, and you just want to live alone and be by yourself, more power to you, boo. But stop getting online having all these 50-50 conversations. I feel like my woman should contribute. I feel like my woman should pay 50-50. I feel like we should do 50-50 in our household. And if we don't, I don't know what she bringing to the table. What do you bring to the table? It's like, baby, enough. I mean, I don't know if you really understand how 50-50 works, but asking a woman in a society where women still make less money than men for doing the same job is understand how 50-50 works, but asking a woman in a society where women still make less money than men for doing the same job, I don't know if you really understand how 50-50 works, but asking a woman in a society where women still make less money than men for doing the same job.
Hold on.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Hold up. Now, listen, look. We got to, okay, I'm chiming in right now. This is the deal. I thought women were making more than men out here. We hear it all the time. You know, women are just crushing men out here in the workforce. They're making more than men, and they're striving and opening up these corporations, these Fortune 500 corporations, and they're building these skyscrapers, and they're putting people to work in these jobs and stuff like that. I thought women were making more money. What is she talking about? What is she talking about? I thought women were making more money than men out here.
Is wild. It's really wild. And then to expect a woman to do 50-50 with you because somehow you just can't do it all. It's too much for you. When you live in a society where men make more just for being a man, it's really super wild. I don't feel like a woman should be expected to do more because of your lack of ambition or because of your inability to soar as high as some other men do. And I ain't judging you, but
Lies.
I'm really sick of seeing the videos because it's very clear that y'all don't understand how 50-50 works. Now, aside from what I just said, the way 50-50 works is you would have to be equal, right? So if I glue my hands together and tear them apart, they're equal. I got the same number of fingers. It's like, it's the same. Okay. In the same way, in a relationship, if you want to go 50-50, then that means y'all go half on the bills. Y'all go half on the cleaning. You clean some, he cleans some. The cooking, you cook, he cook, and everything else. We already established that financially you can't really do that unless you're just the type of man that's not as ambitious or not as successful, and you just happen to partner yourself with a woman that's more successful than you. Then if she's sharing in the finances with you based on how society is set up, she's still doing more than you, but that's another conversation. But 50-50
really?
would truly then mean that in addition to the cooking and the cleaning.
Okay, now, shit. Let's just go here now. You know, this new age mindset and greed and disrespect for your loved ones and your family and stuff like that. I thought at the end of the day, though, because of my upbringing, definitely, because all this is rooted from, you know, the church and how things supposed to go with marriage, all this type of crap. Okay. I thought it's supposed to be one pot in the household. The household is one. You know what I'm saying? And as the male leading the household, he brings in his finances. You know, saying everybody puts their pot together, in the household, and it's, you know, one unit moving together, you know, and all this, you know, separation of finances and stuff like that is causing the serious problem with making a house a home. You know, it's no way that you could make a house a home when you're divided in the household just because of a few decimal points of fucking numbers.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Makes no sense. Either you're going to go all in together and throw everything in one pot and, you know, saying maneuver that way to make sure that everything works together like it's supposed to, or you're going to keep playing these, you know, 50-50, you know, well, I paid this bill this month and I did this and that, woo to woo. That's not fucking a home. That's not a home. That's a chaotic situation where two people are living together that are individuals and not working together as a damn team. She's making more money. He's making more money. It don't matter who the fuck, goddamn it, getting the cash. Long as the cash is coming in to the damn house how it's supposed to. I didn't grow up with this type of thought process from any women or the men in my family. I don't understand it. It sounds trash to me because it's highly disrespectful when two people are supposed to come together and actually be productive citizens and work together as a family unit to try to move the bulldozer forward to make sure that they achieve the goals that they want to achieve together. I don't, you know, all this this talking out the side of the necks is it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. Oh, you know, I make more than you. You make more than me. It don't matter who the fuck make what. The family unit is a whole team. Jesus Christ. All right.
Boys don't understand. 50-50 is for broke boys. It will make you less of a man.
So he's 100% right. But can we talk about how unsustainable that idea is, especially for millennials and younger, and even some of the Generation X people? So I know a couple that followed this to the T. They believed that it was the man's responsibility to be the full sole provider. She refused to work at all. He was college educated, had a good career. He made what I would consider decent money. He made somewhere between 70, 80, maybe a little bit more, $1,000 a year. Throughout the years, though, they struggled just financially. Like I said, she refused to get a job. They stayed in an apartment because they couldn't find a house that was in a neighborhood that they wanted to live in. So they just stayed in an apartment so they can stay within a neighborhood they wanted to live in. Whenever there was issues that arise, they ended up going into debt because they didn't have the money to save for a rainy day. And throughout that time, she refused to work because it was his responsibility. Today, they're divorced. If the idea of going 50-50 is appalling to you today, it's because you lack financial literacy and probably financial stability, or you're looking for a transactional relationship, i.e.
When I start selling pussy, I don't want to hear it. When I start selling pussy, I don't want to hear nobody say shit. When you see me on the corner, bitch, mind your business.
A sugar daddy. There's a lot of reasons why this idea is unsustainable, but I'll start with the most obvious reason. That's the economy. Most people cannot afford to live a comfortable life on one income.
Right.
I make over 6 figures and I'm not able to be the sole provider. But slow down before you start to talk about me, because let me fully explain what being a sole provider means. Being a sole provider means you are able to pay for the past, the present, and the future. The past represents all of the debt that you've incurred, car loans, credit card loans, student loans, all the stupid shit you did in your 20s. The present includes paying for, yes, your rent and mortgage and lights and gas and water and food and stuff like that. But it also comes with your medical insurance, dental insurance, vision, home insurance, car insurances, and then all of the leisure stuff from Saturday date nights or just out with the family to going to Disney. Then you have
Mm.
to pay for the future, which
Mm.
includes your IRA, your retirement plans, your
Right.
401k, life insurance, whole and term if you have it. And if you have kids, I want you to multiply all of those expenses by the number of kids you have. I have 4. So let's be honest. Most of us cannot afford to be a sole provider. And let's be more honest. Most of us that claim to have money are just scammers. Paying for hair, nails, and feet does not make you a sole provider. We have to begin to have more mature conversations about finance.
Hey, I definitely agree on that. And that's a huge crutch in the Black community at large, is that we don't, know finances and how this finance situation in this country run. We never grew up on that. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest with ourselves out here. Growing up in most Black households, we weren't taught finances how we should have been. It's not until recently that we have the technology to where some of us can, even invest in the stock market and things like that. You had to know people to get, or at least, like, let's say you lived in the South 40, 50 years ago. You couldn't invest in the stock market. Not like that. You had to know people, things like that, especially as the Black community. You had to know people. And if you, at large, the Black community, if you didn't know people, stuff like that, that could get you in touch with somebody in New York, some banker that worked for JP Morgan, something like that, you didn't know how to invest in the stock market, 30, 40 years ago. Nowadays, we can get on the stock market on our phone, stuff like that, invest, things like that. So, what I'm saying, in the Black community, we have not been taught about finances and how things work. That's the reason why we have these delusional ideas about what happened with our ancestors years ago, when they, the grandfather used to work in the plants and stuff like that. Things were different. Finances worked different back then. We do not have the same luxury to have that one income household like happened 60 years ago.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
We don't have that luxury. And regardless of what a lot of women think, the majority of women walk around here are just as middle class as most of the men are. Average ass people. And they want to sit around here and think that their average ass budget is going to actually sustain them. And then when shit hits the fan, they're looking for handouts and shit.
When I start selling pussy, I don't want to hear it.
And, it's like, what the fuck, baby? You're not finna get that. You're going to have to, get with somebody that's actually trying to go somewhere and do some things in life and stuff like that. And, get under some structure and some discipline. But, hey, the structure and discipline that actually equals up to a long, successful life when you're actually older and things like that, and you want to chill out and things like that. No. You want to try to start doing that after you start getting older, but you should have been planning for that when you were younger.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
But due to the fact that our community has not been taught finances, the way that we, should have been taught and things like that, due to, a lot of things, a lot of different things. But now's the time for us to, galvanize ourselves and start teaching our children about finances and working on our community to get better. That's if it can be saved. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.